Kamala Harris has seen a wave of donations. Think of it as who voters are betting on, in a sense, and bearing in mind that so much of the US election process, in fact, most of it, is driven by large donations and vast amounts of money. Just think about how much money. Now, for most of the campaign so far, the Democrats here, the Blues, have held a strong advantage, particularly as Donald Trump has had so much money tied up paying his legal fees. The donations have been coming in greater, and President Biden's war chest has been larger. Then, of course, arrived donations from people like Elon Musk and to the red side, and the banking heir Timothy Mellon also gave money. Blackstone's CEO Steve Schwartzman gave, and it wasn't long before the Republicans had caught up, essentially, to where the Democrats were. Now, the real big money's flowing in. More than $100 million has come in for Kamala Harris in the last 48 hours. A lot of that money is coming from small donors. Think of it as being maybe a chip at a time. Never mind the big money that's been coming in on this side, but it's been smaller donations. And the Republicans are once again facing an uphill battle on fundraising. Dan Eberhart is the CEO of energy company Canary and a Republican donor. Dan joins me now. I realize it's in sort of fairly simplistic terms, but you know as well as anybody, it is money that drives these campaigns, and the necessity to have that money is ever more crucial now. How do you see the fundraising coming along?
Sure. So I always say with these campaigns, you need money, momentum, and messaging. So it's only part of the equation, Richard, but you definitely need money to finance these, all out battles that are going to happen. But, I can tell you the Trump campaign has been set, has planned to be outspent this entire cycle. So the fact that we pulled even for a while and are getting these big donations from people like Musk and others, I think is really just a tailwind for us. And, Kamala Harris has had a good 48 hours, but I think that it's really going to peter out for her, and switching Biden for Harris to me is a distinction without a difference.
The ability to raise money. I mean, and there's still the dispute. There seems to be the view that she will be able to inherit the money within the Biden-Harris campaign funds so far. But the whole thing is so fueled with cash. And it does, to a large extent, distort. And yeah, I mean, I agree, there's no solution. The Supreme Court's ruled on super PACs. PACs are here to stay, and the money just flows backwards and forwards.
Yeah, look, there's money sloshing all around the system, Richard. But I'll tell you, look, the most important dollars are hard dollars. The super PAC money is really less important. But really, at the end of the day, I think that both these candidates are going to be able to get their messaging out. Donald Trump has got 100% name ID, and Kamala Harris is close. So I really think it's going to come down to messaging and, and what voters prefer.
Right.
And I think that, remember, this switch was made because, Trump was defeating Biden, and I think that he'll defeat Harris, who really inherits the same policies as Biden.
Let's talk about these economic policies that they are inheriting, if you will. What do you see as the big difference? I mean, to a certain extent, both candidates are saying that they want to make more permanent the tax cuts. Trade is a big one, with Donald Trump looking at 10% across the board tariffs. But still, Biden-Harris left a lot of the tariffs in place and have put targeted tariffs themselves. So what do you see as the core difference between them on economic fronts?
I think the core difference is Donald Trump is a businessman and Kamala Harris is not. Trump wants to have lower taxes. He wants to have lower interest rates, and he's much more concerned with inflation. If inflation was a big deal, it never would have. The Biden administration would have never unleashed it with their infrastructure bill, with their 1.9 trillion stimulus bill, and with the Build Back Better bill, which failed. All of these things were massively inflationary, and they just didn't care. Also, another key distinction is Trump is concerned about energy costs and believes that keeping energy costs low is central to having middle-class consumers be able to prosper. And the Biden Harris administration is just focused on a virtue signaling to the progressive left and not concerned with energy prices.
But when I listen to the two candidates, and we're early days in a
Mhm.
sense, there does
Yeah.
seem to be certainly listening to Harris today, a more optimistic tone, a more, there is a future and it is a bright one, versus the rather curmudgeonly message which comes from Donald Trump, which is we're all going to hell in a handbasket, and if we don't do something soon, it'll be a nightmare.
Well, I disagree with that. I think they both have, optimism. Trump's optimism is, look at how good the economy was when I was in charge. I'm going to go take us back to the future and do that again. And Kamala Harris is saying, look, forgive the inflation that we've got, forgive the economic growth numbers stalling, forget the price of your mortgage, interest rate in a mortgage has gone high during our term. I'm going to do better than what Biden and I have done, status quo. That to me is the difference, Richard.
Is it? I just want to end on that. You talked about inflation, and obviously, as a business program, we spend far too long talking about inflation,
Sure.
frankly. But it's not entirely the fault of the administration with their stimulus package, which many agree with you was overly done. If I look at the UK, the EU, you look at Australia, you look at Canada, every major economy had very high inflation. And they didn't all have the Inflation Reduction Act and all those other things that you talk about.
Sure. Well, I think every country's got different circumstances and different macroeconomic put things pushing and pulling. But Richard, look, the fact is, Biden and Harris were in charge of this country and in charge of this country's economy, and I think their record is their record, and it's highly inflationary. They've unleashed inflation, and they didn't really have a plan to put it back in the model. And here we are with, the days of the 3% mortgage are gone in America, and people can't move because their mortgage is too good where they're at. People are struggling to buy a new car because the interest rate in a new car is too high. And meanwhile, you have, prices at the grocery store, diapers, car insurance, the price of mattresses, I've learned, is up about 50%. And these are real things that have real consequences to people. And the Biden Harris administration just hasn't paid attention.
Dan, you were there for a second. Now, I'll say thank you, sir. It's good to have you back. And we'll talk more as the election progresses. As a friend of Questions Business, we look forward to talking to you again. Thank you, sir.